What's happening, YouTube? Welcome to Moose Preparedness. I am Moose. Thought I'd give you guys a quick video because I wanted to talk about some other things we noticed during Helene, and I'm just going through the list that I've done. And one of the things I want to talk about now is addiction. Weird topic, right? Who talks about addiction, about preparedness? Well, after the actual incident had happened, a lot of people were kind of in shock. However, people who are addicted to things tend to want things like they were getting every day, right? Normalcy bias. I'm always going to be able to go do this one thing or eat this one thing, go to this one place. There were a slew of folks who got caught unprepared, and it showed really what they were addicted to, in my opinion. So I've already talked before about how one of our friends evacuated out with her kids, plural, and I think a large part of that had to do with the kids, as well as her to some extent, were addicted to the internet, had to have the technology, they were addicted to the cushier life, could not handle potentially being in a place where they didn't have electricity, internet, constant entertainment, that dopamine fix. I mean, how many of us are guilty of doom scrolling on our phones, on social media and things like that? So I think that was a huge factor as why I left. I have to go back on there because I have to do these things. There were folks, so once we kind of they brought in some cell towers that were kind of sort of most of the cell towers here were destroyed, but they brought in cell towers that were kind of for emergency use. And I have an app for our neighborhood. You would not believe how many people were like, hey, is Starbucks open? Has anybody, is this coffee place open? Is this thing? They had to have their Starbucks. Now, I think Starbucks is overpriced, worthless garbage. But people needed that fix. It was that one little type of normal. Cigarettes, alcohol, fast food. I'm not going to lie. Back in the day, I was a hardcore fast food addict. I love me eating some crap food. Didn't help with my weight either. But I had to have it. So there were people who were literally driving out places to go get stuff. My next door neighbor, God bless him, 70-something-year-old man. I think he's 77. Absolutely, unequivocally addicted to coffee. Didn't have a way to brew coffee. Didn't have a way to make coffee. Because all of his stuff was relying upon K-cups and machines and the heat working, all these things. He drove 60 miles one way to the nearest place where there was power and he could get a cup of coffee from the place that he likes getting. Mind you, this is a time when our whole area had zero fuel because everything was out. So he was willing to risk driving his tank down. Now, granted, he'd fill up while he was there too, but drive his tank down to go fill up his cup of coffee. And the other thing too is he also is like, hey, the internet's out. Got it? So no big deal. Internet's out. Well, it's a super big deal if that's where everything is on. He said, well, I have a home phone. No, he has a voice over IP phone, which doesn't work if you don't have internet. He couldn't access his cell phone because you don't have internet. Couldn't access his TV because his TV package was through the internet. So everything that he did, again, 70-something-year-old guy, everything he did was all centered around having an internet-based lifestyle. So whenever that lifestyle ended, or he was no longer able to do it because it was off, he lasted for about 2-3 days. Now, he's 77 years old. It's 88 degrees, and it was hot out, and I don't fault him at all. He went to go stay with family not too far away, and I'll give him credit where credit's due. He toughed it out through the storm. He watched after our house to make sure that everything was safe, and then on top of that, he stuck around for at least a couple days. I made him a couple cups of coffee before he was like, no, it's going to take longer and I just don't need to deal with this crap. But he was 77. He lasted longer than a lot of the other folks, especially my age and younger, mid-30s and lower, because they couldn't have their fix. So I want you to take a look and see it yourselves. What is it that you are addicted to? Is it coffee? Is it going out to eat? Is it, doom scrolling on the internet? Is it something that would be either minimized or completely eliminated if you have an actual SHTF grid down situation? And how do you mitigate that? So I don't really drink coffee. I used to drink it like it was going out of style, but if you've ever had military coffee, where it's that bottom of the pot black coffee, it's like drinking sludge. You can almost chew it. You drink enough of that rot gut while deployed, where you're having 4 or 5 cups a day, because I gave up energy drinks. So I was like, energy drinks have too much. I'm just gonna drink coffee. And it ended up messing with me. So I have instant grounds on hand. Not for me. I literally provided coffee to 5 or 6 of my neighbors. I'd do my little patrols around the neighborhood, again, under the guise of walking my dog. But I do the patrols around my neighborhood, and I would literally go, hey, do you guys need anything? And I had another older lady, she's like, man, I just need that cup of coffee. Just really need it. So I went home, boiled a cup of coffee, filled it in her thermos, came back. You would have thought that I gave her a pot of gold, because she needed that. Now, that'll tie into something I'll go into a different video about morale boosters, but look inside yourself, see what you're getting addicted to and what you can cut out now, and really do some analysis, because sometimes you may be surprised at what you'll be out of, and it may come back to haunt you. Stay safe out here.